It's food o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer, and I just spent £7 on a pie from a supermarket. Now, some of you might think that this pie should be a plate pie, or even bigger, a pie the size of a house. But no, this is a Marks and Spencer Gastropub British beef pie by Tom. 270 grams, £7. £7. Look, I can wrap my very small hands all around it. And I can't wrap my very small hands around much at all. It looks great, doesn't it? So, admittedly, I had to Google who this man was. And that's not because I'm ignorant. It's just, I took myself away from television a long time ago. Long time ago. I could see what was happening with television. I could see that the influence that television was offering people, and I decided to break away from that influence and live my own life, basically, and let that be a lesson to a lot of people who watch this, because, well, television's, it can be a great source of information, but also it can be like full of 0% adverts for beer and do the right thing and Charlie Says. Remember the Charlie Says? If you're old enough to remember, you'll remember the government information adverts on the television. Charlie Says. And don't fly kites into electric pylons. If you're old enough, you'll remember all of these things. But they weren't really working. And people weren't taking much notice. So what they decided to do instead was put those messages inside of soaps and general television. Remember Frank Butcher? Remember when he mowed down Janine? He'd had a couple of pints. There was your don't drink and drive advert, just there, just then. And watching that scene, because I was I watched that on the television. Frank Butcher, EastEnders, mowed down Janine. I watched that, couple of pints, boom, down she goes. I watched that, and instead of like shock horror, Janine Butcher's dead, I was kind of like, I can see a bigger message here. I can see what the real message is here, and it's just a don't drink and drive advert. So in that moment, I refused to watch television. I'll watch snooker on ITV. I'll watch a little bit of football on the BBC if it's FA Cup final or something like that. But what I won't do is watch these soaps endlessly and melt my brain. So apologies for Tom. If he ever watches this video, apologies sincerely to him, that I come from a different background. I come from an internet background where all of my consumption of media is taken through what I want to watch on YouTube and whatnot. And at the moment I sniff any kind of information video, I'm out of there. I'm gone. I'm done. So apologies if Tom ever watches this video. And I've had to do my YouTube, my Google search kind of research on him, and apparently he's done really well for himself. 2 Michelin stars pubs in Buckinghamshire. He hosts Food and Drink. Last time I watched Food and Drink, it was that lady drinking wine, having fun. That all stopped, didn't it? What was her name? Food and Drink lady. She was very famous for drinking lots of wine and getting drunk. But yeah, Tom looks to have done really well for himself, and this is a £7 pie from Marks and Spencer's. So without further ado, it looks incredible. It cost me £7. Let's get it in the oven and see what we get. There's nothing better in life than a pie and a pint. They complement each other so very well. So here is the pie. It's been in the oven for the required time. It was about 35 to 40 minutes in the oven, gas mark 5. And you can tell there's some care being given to this. Beautiful top, lovely sides, zero soggy bottom. But what I noticed, there was no foil tray. Remember the old minced beef and onion pies back in the day? They probably still sell them with the foil trays that went in the oven. They were great in their own right. Right, without... Oh. There we go. So I'm expecting lovely things from this pie. The things we talked about earlier on, about television, that was just a case of me saying that I had to Google search Tom. And if you ever get to watch this, you'll probably understand that. Some people watch television, some people don't. But let's talk about the pie now. Lovely. Looks like this shredded beef here with some gravy on a pastry base. Oh. That is lovely. The beef is tender. A little bit of kind of sticky, thick gravy in there. The sides or the walls of the pie here, it looks like a miniature castle, doesn't it? A fortified British castle, keeping the beef guarded. It looks great, it tastes great. Oh, yeah. That's a stonkingly good pie. Fantastic, actually. I'm looking at the sky. Looks like it's about to rain again. But all of that doesn't matter. The weather doesn't matter. Because look at that shredded beef there. Wonderful. Now, my understanding of British life is that it can be quite harsh here in the winter. And I think we as British people get through. I'm wondering if I can pick this up and bite it now. Look at the beef in that pie. That's about 2 inches. 2 inches thick of beef. Oh yeah. I'm telling you all of this because there's nothing better than a British meat pie. A well-made British meat pie. This is terrific. And all of this weather out here, all of this rain and all of this October weather doesn't matter to me because I have a great pie. And that's the secret of British life. Now, a good friend of mine, he moved here from Poland a good few years ago now. And he moved here with such optimism. And he was going to do great things. He did great things. He did great things. He done the garden up. He built a double garage on his house. And then things, I've just literally watched the enthusiasm, the smiley man that first moved in about 8 years ago. I've just watched it over the years drain away. And I've watched it drain away because our winters are really long. Our winters, and I imagine that Polish winters are just as long. But our winters are really wet and they're really harsh. And you can have days where you're stuck in. And it's the reason why we have. I mean, look at this pie, for goodness sake, it's fantastic. Who wouldn't want to be stuck in for days with this pie? Oh, wow, it's unreal. And it's basically got to the point now where he's buying property now in Poland. And he's looking to go back to where he lives. Or where he's from. Which of course, if you've got family there and whatnot, there's nothing to judge, is there? But it made me realise in life, and I reflected on it all weekend, because things have hit a bit of a, I think things have hit a bit of a crisis point with my good friend from Poland, that I just don't think he can stick another winter here. We're in October now. I've seen him quite like oh, another winter here in the UK. It's so wet, it's so rainy. Called us all alcoholic. You're all alcoholics. But I firmly believe, this is my message, I firmly believe that now I love Poland and I love the people of Poland, and I love people from anywhere in the world. But I think you have to, like, if that man come to me and said, hey, how are you getting through your winters? Then I would have shown him things like this. I would have shown him this pie. And I would have shown him the nice little local pub that I drink in, and the things you do to get through your dark, dismal winter. And it's wonderful things like this. It's wonderful things like this that this is delicious. This is one of the best pies I've ever eaten in my life. The crust is fantastic, all butter pastry. Oh. The steak is incredible. And of course, the beer. Now, just very quickly on this, because it's a pie review at the end of the day. A pie and a pint goes fantastically well. Let me rate the pie so the people who want to leave can leave, and I'll carry on banging on about my opinion about what's an alcoholic and you know, the justification of an alcoholic and everything else involved in being an alcoholic. The rating for the pie, is the best thing ever. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 for the pie. If you're here for my story, I imagine alcohol plays a big part in getting through a long, wet, dismal British winter. Does that make me an alcoholic? No, I don't think so. It helps. It definitely helps. But if you're born here, then this is home. You make the best of it. We literally have nowhere else to go. We have nowhere else to call home, especially if you lived in one place all your life, like I have. You make the best of it, don't you? And the best of it for me is a Friday afternoon drive to Marks and Spencer's and to eat and enjoy a lovely pie and to save a life with a beer, with a few beers. I hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom, cheers.